So that counts usually. It's India, and I love India. Okay, so let us go back to some more pro level problems. We did a couple of good problems, the chain ones. Still, the chain part is not over by thinking. I want to do some still tedious kind of problems, get a hangover of the questions, and then we'll move ahead. Is that clear? So, as Risti is saying, let us do this, sir. Let us just have a great level of problems this time, much more great level of problems. So a great level of a problem is coming by now. Let us see once again. I have a ring shaped geometry. Okay, 1 minute. So let me just place it. So let us just, yeah, once again we'll have a half ring. Actually, I love half rings, not full rings, because full rings are kind of engagement rings, which I hate the most. But although the tedious process has been started, I'm going to get married next year, almost. So there is a chain. Okay. Initially, it was making some kind of angle 30 degree with the vertical. कितना बना रहा था? So initial angle our chain was making with vertical. Yeah, is how much? Sorry, 630. Yeah. The question is, what happens? ठीक है, अब मैंने इस चेन को इस पोजीशन से रिलीज कर दिया. ये जो सेमी सर्कुलर रिंग है ये है फ्रिक्शनलेस. कैसी है? No friction is there. So this chain starts to roll down. This chain start to go down and down and down, and then it will come down over here. It came down over here, and at this instant, finally, it was making some kind of 30 degree with the horizontal now. ठीक है? Initial angle was 30 degree with the vertical. Final angle is, yeah, it's 30 degree with horizontal or horizontal, जो भी बोलना है. Question is, find the speed of the chain at this particular position when it makes 30 degree. So find final speed of chain. Yeah. You will be thinking like, what the hell have sir thought? What is happening with me, isn't it? These are the best questions basically. Try it. These are very, very awesome questions. You have to just use your imagination. Once again, frictionless, I'll tell you one thing, one fact. Do not get fear. The work energy theorem is the one of the most important thing which provides the solution of each and every kind of this kind of sets. The answer is this is getting pulled by mg, and we have only one force which is gravitational force and another is normal. So here also once again work energy theorem is established, means energy is conserved. Okay, so if energy is conserved, just apply kinetic energy final plus potential energy final is equal to kinetic energy initial plus potential energy initial. But the fact is, to find this potential energy final and potential energy initial is a tedious task. Okay, so we'll go one by one. Let us just pick it up. It's not a tedious task. Let us see. I do not know. I felt it is kind of tedious. So this is my chain which has an initial length, okay, which is initially making how much angles with the vertical? 30 degree. This theta was 30 degree, isn't it? Yeah, but that means that the mass is confined within this region only. And if I want to find its potential energy, the question arises that where is the center of mass of this rigid body, isn't it? It will lie somewhere over here. We do not know where it will lie. Is that clear or not? So, the tarika, the easiest way is that we know that for any kind of rigid body, first start making a small angle which makes at the center a small angle of how much? D theta. Are you able to get me or not? And then for this small angle, you know that the mass of the chain have a very small mass and I call it as dm. क्या बोलूँगा? Radius of chain मालूम ही है, you know the radius of the chain. So its length will be r into d theta. Are you able to get me or not? Yes. Let us consider that at that instant of time this small angle makes theta with the vertical. क्या बना रहा है? थीटा. तो ये जो लेंथ होगी वो हाइट कितनी हो जाएगी? r cos थीटा. और हाइपोटेन्यूज r सॉरी बेस क्या हो जाएगा? r sin थीटा. Is that clear or not? Yes. If it is a chain, we know that for any kind of chain kind of geometry, it is a one-dimensional geometry. So I have to use lambda over there or not? Linear mass geometry I have to use. And lambda is what? Mass by length. Mass by length. But here length of this chain is just how much angles? R into R into theta, which is 30 degree or not? This is how much? R into pi by 6. Are you able to get me or not? So that is pi r by 6. That must be equal to chota mass by chota length, which is r d theta or not? R cancel. So dm is equal to m by 6m by pi into d theta. Are you able to get me or not? Understood? Now, if the mass of the chain was known and all these things were known, we can easily find dm. Now we know that I have to find the potential energy. So this is my dm equation. So for the first case, the dm will be located for this and it is easy. So I can find initial case of potential energy. And I'll have to do the integration from where to where. Just because the mass varies at rest from here to here, isn't it? So the integration must be 0 to pi by 6. Are you able to get me or not? Hmm. And the mass is no, that's just no. Look over here. The chain itself is between 0 to 60 degree or not, and I calculated the smallest potential energy du for that. When I integrate it, oh, I will consider that the reference point its potential energy is 0. How much is that? Yeah. No. No, 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 no. It is u initial for the body because at this vertical reference point the potential energy is zero basically. How come it is zero? Okay, let me tell you. Let me just have a correct explanation. Look over here. Look over. Uh-huh. This is the chain. Okay. So its whole mass is not present on the chain itself. It is present somewhere over here. I want to find it, but the easiest way is not there. Consider a dm. Find the du for that, a small u, integrate it, you'll get the net potential energy. That's the trick. Yeah, so I'll consider, since I'm measuring angle theta from the vertical, I'll consider its potential energy over here as at the vertical case to be zero. Are you able to get me? And but here it will have some potential energy or not because it is at located at some height from the ground. What? Add some height above the ground. I can't hear it properly. Just tell me, yeah. Just tell me once more. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This point, see, here I'm considering it to be zero. Are you able to get me or not? Yeah, that's from where I'm measuring basically. When theta is zero, when theta, basically this theta varies from 0 degree to 30 degree or not. Okay. Yeah, always at the okay. Can we go to the point? So the 6m by pi into d theta, basically the point is that I'm taking it although from the ground. But at this point, it is just going to leave the contact because the mass m is located over here, right or not? So we are considering over here it is making how much in its potential energy? Zero potential energy. Is that clear or not? Okay, so 6m by pi into d theta into this is my mass into gravity g into height h is r cos theta. Look over there. The dm is located, this dm is located at r cos theta distance or not. So the reference point is this ground only. Remember that reference point is this ground only. But I'm considering that over here in the point of contact it is making how much potential? Zero. Is that clear? So the u initial becomes 0 to pi by 6m by pi as taken out r 6m by pi rg which is taken out integration of what I'm left with is integration of cos theta d theta and that too from 0 to pi by 6 integration of cos theta is nothing but 6 mrg by pi. Okay, integration of cos theta is what? Sin theta, simple, from 0 to pi by 6. Is that clear or not? So what this sine pi by sine 30 is 1 by 2. So this becomes how much? U initial is equal to 6 mrg by pi. Sine 30 is 1 by 2. Sine 0 is 0. So this becomes 3 mrg by pi. कितना बना ये? Pi. Are you able to get me or not? Yeah. So this was the equation for U initial. क्या इसका ये equation है? But the condition is that when the chain appears over here, look over here, the chain. Okay. I just consider that when the chain appears at the downward point, okay, yeah, so mass will be still a little bit away from the ground or not. It will be, yes. So basically, I have to find that length also. So the question arises how you are going to do that. Once again, look over there with the vertical. Since our calculation is started with the vertical, so we'll do the calculation always with the vertical. So look over here. Does my angles varies from 60 degree to 90 degree? And what? No, 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 no. Like we did for the horizontal case only, no? We are just considering angle theta, the variation of angle theta. Is that clear? Yeah. So if you are doing one calculation, you should have always a reference point same throughout. Got it? So this is dm located. This is d theta. Are you able to get me or not? Now, if you are going to measure, there are two ways to measure. So either you can go from the vertical position of yeah, correct, very correct. So look over here. This chain is looking like this way. Okay, this chain is available from here to here. Are you able to get me? So if I just take one of the DMs, isn't it? And which makes some angle d theta. So once again the question arises that we'll have to consider some kind of angle theta. Are you able to get me or not? So let's suppose if I just consider this as angle theta, this length is how much? R cos theta, and this length is how much? R sin theta. Are you able to get me or not? So this perpendicular, yeah. So basically, I'll consider that theta starts to vary since the mass is present from 60 degree to 90 degree. So theta varies from which angle to which angle? 60 to, yeah. Is that clear? Equations are same, lambda remains same, everything is same. So this time the final potential energy in this case, the variation, let us consider if it is making some kind of angle over here as theta. So once again this perpendicular height is how much? R cos. Is that clear? And if I write u final equation, it is once again, but it is going to be from 60 degree, that is pi by 3 to pi by 2. Yes, and that is dm. Dm is once again 6m by pi d theta into g into how much? R cos theta. Is that clear or not? Small mass, gravity, and height. Is that clear? So equation becomes 6m by pi rg common. Cos theta is once again sin theta. But the angle this time varies from pi. So that means I'll get one term over here. U final is equal to 6mrg by pi. Sine pi by 2 is 1. So that is 1 minus root 3 by 2 because sine 60 is root 3 by 2. Are you able to get me or not? So you got U final, you got U initial. Can't you apply the kinetic energy conservation equation, that kinetic energy final? This equation, final kinetic energy you have to find. Final potential energy is 6 m. Oh, okay. 6 mRg by pi. 6 mRg by pi. 1 minus root 3 by 2. This is my final potential energy. Initial chain was at rest, so it is 0 plus initial potential energy, which is 3 mRg, or you can write directly in terms of 6 mRg by 2 pi. Are you able to get me or not? Is that clear? You solve it and you will get the particular value of, if you solve it, you'll get the particular value of the value of velocity or not. Is that clear? Now, K final is equal to half mv square. Put velocity half mv square, you will get the answers. Understood? So you just solve it. You just solve it and you will get the answers. Okay, na? Yeah, these were the chain questions. So all the part of the chain is over. Means almost every part we did. So many chain problems we did. Every question has its own essence. You try it and then you move ahead. Okay? So let us have a little bit of mastery on our spring kind of systems. Mastery, a PhD on our spring kind of systems. Got it? Great now. So let us do it. After this, what which chapter we are starting? Oscillation. Oscillations and waves both. Okay. So now look over here. Let us just consider one fact that I took one spring, I attached with a ring, okay, placed on the top of this cylindrical or rod. Got it or not? Rod is frictionless. कैसा है ये? ओके ठीक है, तो अब ध्यान से देखो। तो जो स्प्रिंग अभी है, अभी ये जो स्प्रिंग कुछ भी हो, दिस स्प्रिंग इज इन स्ट्रेस्ड कंडीशन। कैसा है ये? या व्हेन इट कम्स एट पॉइंट ए, this is its point A, this is point A is of नेचुरल लेंथ कंडीशन, कौन सा कंडीशन? इज दैट क्लियर? If its spring constant is k and this is 37 degree and this is radius r, then and the ring has a mass m, ring के ऊपर mass कितनी है? Then question is find the velocity of ring. It's easy question, it's a very easy question. When comes at position a, it's a easy question. Think it like a easy way. We can do it. 1 minute. Solve it. What? Mass? This, it's a massless spring. You do not need to consider the mass of the spring. Okay. We can apply a work energy theorem because spring is independent of its mass. Why we are considering mass of the spring? You want to tell me? Is it really need to be considered? Think it can be done easily. Stretched is that is a stretched case. Got it or not? Over there it is stretched. Okay. That's the stretched case. बताओ क्या होगा? What happened? बताओ क्या हुआ। इट्स इज কিছু কিছু করেক্ট আছে। করেক্ট আছে। ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে। এটা খুব বিগার ভুল করেছে। ওকে, এটাকে দেখো, এটাকে देखो ना। ठीक है। अच्छा देख, ध्यान से देख, ये रेडियस आर दिया हुआ है, ठीक है। अगर मैं यहाँ से चला तो मैं कुछ ना कुछ तो हाइट तो चल रहा ना। अच्छा एक बात बता, ये पॉइंट एक किस पॉइंट है, नेचुरल लेंथ का पॉइंट है ना। मतलब अगर ये पॉइंट बी है तो बी कौन सा पॉइंट, एक्सटेंडेड केस है या नहीं है। अगर ध्यान से देखा जाए तो नेचुरल लेंथ ऑफ द स्प्रिंग की जो लेंथ है वो आर के बराबर है ना। क्योंकि पॉइंट ए पे स्प्रिंग कैसा है, नेचुरल लेंथ में, तो नेचुरल लेंथ ऑफ स्प्रिंग क्या हो गया, आर। सॉरी, अगर ये 37 है तो ये मान ले हाइपोटेन्यूज है इसका, स्ट्रेच केस है ना। मैं इस स्ट्रेच वर्ड को ही हटा, ये डालेगा काम में अकड़म बकड़म बकड़म वो। ये मान ले स्प्रिंग कांस्टेंट के, तो यहां से लेके यहां तक मान लो, ये जो है हाइपोटेन्यूज, इसको परपेंडिकुलर मान लो और इसको हाइपोटेन्यूज मान लो। इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट। तो जो हाइपोटेन्यूज की वैल्यू आएगी, हमें मालूम है कि साइन 37 इज इक्वल टू परपेंडिकुलर बाई hypotenuse, and cos 37 is equal to base which is radius r by hypotenuse. Are you able to get me or not? मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है नहीं आ रही। तो cos 37 हमें मालूम है, cos 37 is 4 by 5, isn't it? So that is r by h। तो hypotenuse की वैल्यू कितनी आई, 5 r by 4। Are you able to get me or not? So this hypotenuse is 5 r by 4। तो इसको इरेज कर लेते हैं। कितना है हाइपोटेन्यूज अपन का, 5 बाई 4। ये r है, तो परपेंडिकुलर हमें मालूम है ना, tan 37 इज इक्वल टू, tan 37 यूज कर लो यार, इतना क्यों टेंशन लेना। tan 37 इज इक्वल टू परपेंडिकुलर बाई बेस। ये तो आसान और कर देगा, tan 37 इज हाउ मच, 3 by 4, isn't it? So that is 3 by 4 is equal to perpendicular by base which is r। So perpendicular की वैल्यू कितनी आई, 3r by 4। मेरी बात समझ में आई या नहीं है। ठीक। तो अब अगर ध्यान से देखें तो एक्सटेंडेड लेंथ फ्रॉम द रेफरेंस पॉइंट, एक्सटेंडेड जो भी है एक्सटेंडेड लेंथ कितने का है, 5r by 4 है ना। तो बेसिकली ध्यान से सोचो जरा, अगर अगर यहाँ पे ध्यान से देखें तो इसमें नेचुरल लेंथ तो डिस्टेंस r का है ना, तो टोटल एक्सपेंशन इसका मतलब कितने का हुआ, x जो डिस्प्लेसमेंट है स्प्रिंग का वो कितने का होगा, दैट इज 5r by 4 माइनस r, इजंट इट। तो x की वैल्यू कितनी आई, r/4। तो एक्सपेंशन कितने का है सिर्फ स्प्रिंग में, इस टॉप मोस्ट पॉइंट पे इनिशियली r/4, और फाइनली एक्सपेंशन जीरो हो जा रहा है ना। तो इक्वेशन क्या बनेगा, वंस अगेन ध्यान से देखो, एक है mg और दूसरा है स्प्रिंग फोर्स, तो दोनों कंजर्वेटिव फोर्स होते हैं, तो एनर्जी कंजर्व रहेगा। मान लो इसको इनिशियल पॉइंट और इसको मान लो बेटा फाइनल पॉइंट। लगा दो एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन बिटवीन इनिशियल पॉइंट एंड फाइनल, काइनेटिक एनर्जी इनिशियल प्लस ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी इनिशियल plus spring potential energy initial is equal to kinetic energy final plus gravitational potential energy final plus spring potential energy final। Are you able to get me or not? तो काइनेटिक एनर्जी इनिशियल तो जीरो है, ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी यहाँ अगर रेफरेंस पॉइंट है तो एम जी एच होगा, एम इंटू जी, और हाइट कितना है बेटा 3r/4, बोले यार हाँ है ना। स्प्रिंग पोटेंशियल एनर्जी इनिशियल क्या हो जाएगी, एक्सटेंडेड है r/4 से, तो हाँ के एक्स की वैल्यू कितनी होगी, r/4 का होल स्क्वायर। हाँ, इज इक्वल टू काइनेटिक एनर्जी फाइनल हमें चाहिए तो हाफ एम वी स्क्वायर। ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी फाइनल यहाँ पे तो जीरो हो जाएगा, है कि नहीं, और स्प्रिंग पोटेंशियल एनर्जी फाइनल भी कितना हो जाएगा वहां पे, जीरो। तो क्या है इक्वेशन, एम जी इंटू 3r/4 प्लस हाफ, मीन्स यहाँ पे इसको कर दे 16 to the 32, 1/32 के आर स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू हाफ एम बी स्क्वायर। इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट? तो नेट इक्वेशन क्या है वेलोसिटी का, v इज इक्वल टू रूट अंडर 2 से सब मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया, में कैंसिल हो जाएगा यहाँ पे, तो 3r/g/2 प्लस 2 से मल्टीप्लाई करने पे 1/16 के आर स्क्वायर बाई एम। दैट्स माई वेलोसिटी एट दैट पॉइंट। इज दिस क्लियर और नॉट? मजा आया? आसान है या हार्ड है? बस अपन अपन ज्यादा हार्ड टफ नहीं पढ़ाता है, अपन बस इजी क्वेश्चन ही पढ़ाता है ना, लग जाता है लोगों को टफ। इज दैट क्लियर? ठीक है, बस है ना। तुम लोग ही सर जान लिए पड़े हो, और क्या चाहिए, है ना। हाँ, बस physics is just like, see, the more those guys who loves imagination, they will love physics too much. I'm damn sure about that. Those who didn't want to have the imagination, they will never ever love physics, because physics is only a subject which is based upon only and only pure imagination. Chemistry is a kind of learning, mathematics is kind of a practice, but physics, my god, physics is just pure understanding. The more you can imagine, the more you are good in the books. थोड़ा सा एक और स्प्रिंग के बारे में सोचें, मेरे को मजा आ रहा है, थोड़ा लग रहा है कि और थोड़ी सी कांड की जाए। बोला, एक जो हमारी छोटी सी वस्तु है मास एम की, ठीक है, उसको जोड़, आई जस्ट एडेड दिस मास एम विद द स्प्रिंग, ठीक है, मतलब when someone asks me that physics is tough, what we can do, I tell them, you think that physics is tough, but it's the most interesting subject. मेरे से लोग पूछते हैं ना सर फिजिक्स बहुत टफ है, नहीं होता है, ये होता है, वो होता है, मैं बोलता हूँ तुमसे इसलिए नहीं होता कि तुम पढ़ाई नहीं करते हो, ठीक है। यस, बिकॉज इफ यू स्टडी फिजिक्स, if you, I'm relative, no, that's not true. You only think that after, no, I'm not sure, because I was the most average guy you can find out, and from where, how I made myself, I know that it was very tough for me. Still I didn't lost the hope, and within 6 months I was able to excel. So the question is, अब ध्यान से देख, हम एक काम कर रहे हैं, जैसे जैसे तुम्हारे ऊपर मैं क्या करता हूँ, मैं हार्ड क्वेश्चन लेके बैठ जाता हूँ, क्योंकि तुम तो इजी क्वेश्चन बना चुके हो, मजा आएगा तुमको और इजी क्वेश्चन बना में, लेकिन हार्ड क्वेश्चन जब जब नहीं बनेगा तब तक डिमोटिवेशन फील होगा, फिर से पढ़ने बैठोगे, है ना, उसे बहुत मजा आएगा। इससे तुमने अभी जो, हाउ मच आई एम टेलिंग यू, द थिंग्स व्हिच यू हैव लर्नड विद इन दीज 1 month only, isn't it? We are taking classes from 1 month only, na? 1 month, and I think within these three chapters, how much you got to learn. That is a too much interesting point or not? सृष्टि, कितना पढ़ा है अपन ने? भाई साहब, बहुत पढ़ा है ना? रियली, मतलब ऐसे ऐसे डेप्थ पढ़ा है जिसका बारे में डिस्कस भी कोई नहीं कर सकता, है ना। तो देख, फिर से अपन को मालूम है अपन वी आर प्रो गाइस, वी विल सॉल्व ओनली हार्ड क्वेश्चन बिकॉज वी आर बॉर्न प्रो। सो बोला, एक मास लिया, एक स्प्रिंग के ऊपर लगाया और फोर्स लगा के इसको नचाना स्टार्ट कर दिया। आई जस्ट स्टार्टेड टू मूव इट, गॉट इट और नॉट? I'm just keep means if I try to pull this with a force on in the upward direction, this mass will start rising up or not? This arc, I'm telling you, this mass is raised up till this position over here. ठीक है? This mass is raised up till this position only. After that, it is not getting raised up. We can't rise up more than that. Okay, so this came over here. Okay, so the question is, if it came over here, मान लो यहाँ पे आ जाता है, यहाँ पे इसको लाके मैं बैठा देता हूँ, मान लो इस पॉइंट का नाम दे दिया P, क्या नाम दे दिया? P। ठीक है, तो लिख रहा है क्वेश्चन, देखो क्वेश्चन पहले समझो। क्वेश्चन बोल रहा है कि दिस फोर्स एक्ट्स इन सच अ वे दैट ब्लॉक मूव्स स्लोली। अब ये वर्ड पकड़ना, तुम ब्लॉक मूव्स स्लोली का मतलब क्या हुआ? किस स्पीड से जाना? मैंने बताया था। Yes. So if it is a block moves slowly, that means v is constant and acceleration is how much? Zero. Okay. So the question is, uh, find the work done by force, by external force लिख लो, कैपिटल F। इस फोर्स का काम बताओ when it rises up the mass till over here। ठीक है, in such a way that it is in contact with the surface all the time। Are you able to get me or not? The contact is never ever lost। ठीक है? Is that clear? क्वेश्चन बहुत ही अच्छा है, मजेदार क्वेश्चन है। या लोअर पार्ट इज, या लोअर पार्ट इज टोटली फिक्स्ड, दिस इज फिक्स्ड ओवर हियर, ग्राउंड के साथ फिक्स्ड है। स्प्रिंग वहां से कांटेक्ट नहीं छोड़ेगा। हम्म। यस। हाँ, सोचो क्या होना चाहिए। या टेल मी हाउ टू डू इट। Of course, energy conservation will be applied. Energy conservation will be applied or not. That's what you have to think. आसान क्वेश्चन एकदम मतलब. Yes, that's what is the trick is how to put in the equation. Hmm. अच्छा एक बात बताओ. How we are going to do this question? That's a big question. That's a very small question itself. चलो जल्दी जल्दी थोड़ा बनाते हैं. अब अगर हम यहाँ से यहाँ तक मास लेके जाएंगे तो कुछ ना कुछ हाइट राइज हुआ या नहीं हुआ. मान लो ये सर्कुलर आर्क की रेडियस है बेटा. आर्क कितनी है? तो बेसिकली अगर मैंने ट्रायंगल बनाया तो ये जो हाइट हुई, दिस हाइट फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर इज हाउ मच? From here to here, it is how much? Simple. If this is, think of that, this is pi by 6, so that will be uh, r, that will be r sine pi by 6 or not? Sine pi by 6, that means 30 degree. So that is r by 2 basically. So that distance is how much? R by 2. So we are rising up by r by 2. Is that clear or not? अब ध्यान से देखो, अगर मैंने एनएलएम लगाया तो ये बहुत टफ प्रॉब्लम है, बहुत ही ज्यादा टफ. इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट? But with the help, yeah, with the help of work energy theorem, it's just a easy peasy toosy question. Got it or not? How you will see that? ध्यान से देखो तो अभी ये जो स्प्रिंग है वो नेचुरल लेंथ पे है, isn't it? अच्छा, जब हम इसको यहां से यहाँ तक एक्सपैंड किए तो ये जो लेंथ आया, ये जो लेंथ वैरी किया, दैट इज इक्वल टू आर थीटा और नॉट? So length is equal to r theta. The variation in length of the spring, how much is that? Radius is r. Theta is how much? Pi by 6. And that is actually my expansion or not? यही तो मेरा expansion. How? How? What? How? If you look over here, this is my spring. From here to here, I know that it is had some length. But from here to here, the length has been given as r pi by 6. So what is my expansion? This is my expansion, simple. Does my expansion tells you that it will be always a straight line? Yeah, that's why I gave you this question. Got it or not? So expansion is uh-huh. Okay, now there is an external force apart from the weight mg and the spring force. Are you able to get me or not? So the equation will change because external force, these two are although conservative, but external force is not a conservative force or not. It's not a conservative force. So the equation will change as work done by gravity plus work done by spring plus work done by external force is equal to change in kinetic energy. Are you able to get me? Now, look over here. Simple and logical. Work done by gravity is negative of change in potential energy. So minus of, basically I'll write these as, it's just in potential energy. So negative of change in potential energy, that is gravitational potential energy final, minus spring potential energy final. Sorry, plus then minus of spring potential, sorry, gravitational potential energy initial, GPE initial, plus spring potential energy initial, plus work done by external force. अब ध्यान से देखो, Change in kinetic energy will be equal to what? Half m v2 square minus v1 square. But I'm moving slowly or not? So slowly means v2 is equal to what? v1. Is that clear? For which case? Slowly. So that means this will become how much? 0. So this becomes how much? 0. Is that clear or not? Easy peasy. So अब ध्यान से देखो तो ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी बाय द फोर ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी अगर हमें फाइनल निकालना है तो एक सिंपल सी बात बताओ अगर हम रेफरेंस देखो अगर हमने इसको रेफरेंस पॉइंट माना तो क्वेश्चन आसान हो जाएगा ना क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली इसको ऐड करने से कुछ फायदा नहीं है वो तो कैंसिल ही होने कैंसिल ही होने वाला है इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट मैंने बोला कि बेटा तुम्हारे पास ऐसा दिया हुआ है और ऐसा दिया हुआ है तो इसको रेफरेंस पॉइंट मत मानो इसको रेफरेंस पॉइंट मान लो क्योंकि अगर हम क्योंकि देख देख दोनों को मानने में कोई बात नहीं है पार्टिकल यहाँ तक आया है तो इसको रेफरेंस पॉइंट माना तो बस इसी डिस्प्लेसमेंट को कंसिडर करना पड़ेगा ना लेकिन अगर इसको रेफरेंस पॉइंट माना तो इनिशियल के लिए ये फाइनल के लिए ये फाइनल माइनस इनिशियल करेगी तो बात तो बराबर है या नहीं है इसलिए कौन सा आसान तरीका है कंसिडर दिस this as reference point are you able to get me is that clear मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है so gravitational potential energy final it has been rose by a distance of r by 2 so mg r by 2 spring potential energy final half k x square x is r theta isn't it so r pi by 6 whole square and you see one of the most easiest trick is over here gravitational potential energy initially is 0 spring potential energy is 0 plus work done by external force is equal to also 0 क्या आंसर बस एक लाइनर तो आंसर है वर्क डन बाय एक्सटर्नल फोर्स नेगेटिव राइट हैंड साइड में पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा एम जी आर बाई टू प्लस हाफ के आर स्क्वायर पाई स्क्वायर बाई 36 that's your answer that's all these hard questions can be solved within one line. Within how many lines? This is just one line. It is a one line. If you think fast, it can be solved within one line. Oh, can we move ahead? Is that clear? आसान लग रहा है अभी या हार्ड है बस तो see you have some good level of problem skills you can still counter these things with a very good way okay now we are moving to a special kind of approach, right or not, and that is called as shifting of reference point. ठीक है अब ये स्पेशल काइंड ऑफ अप्रोच स्पेशल काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स को बनाने की वी गेट स्पेशल काइंड ऑफ वेज टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम आर यू एबल टू गेट मी और नॉट okay so we'll define how to do this we'll tell about it that how you are going to handle this kind of problems how the questions can be asked regarding that and in which way you can handle this is that clear or not ठीक है मेरी बात समझ में आ okay no problem so 1 minute let me just open that page so I can give you some tedious level of problem once again yeah ठीक है so let us just हाँ 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 mental torture this is not mental torture Ra this is not even a single bit of torture God or not yeah I don't know I'm just taking it in a humorous sense only okay literally I'll never take it physics the more joke you do the more great you are doing okay so this is something called as shifting of axis or shifting of a reference point We'll see how we are going to do it, go ahead or not. Basically, to solve any kind of question, whenever you are solving any kind of question, it requires a lot of time to solve, it requires too much of tedious time. But the problem is, still we can handle the questions in a very easy sense, very less time, and that gives us the way to handle it in a perfect way. Okay. So the question arises every time how you are going to handle it. Okay. So let us see that. Let us just pick it up one point and we'll go through the question basis. The first task, remember that any point can be reference for any kind of mass such that question can be solved easily. Okay. So you'll get to know about this thing in a much more greater sense through the help of questions. Okay. Let us say one question. Let's suppose if I have a table, okay, and in front of that table, I just placed one pulley over here, and then I just took a thread, attached a block of mass M with it, and then there is another block of mass M which is located over here. Okay, now remember that this is of 2 kg mass and this is of how much? 1 kg, and this is located at exact 2 meters away from the ground. The question arises that when 2 kg reaches ground, when 2 kg reaches ground, then find the velocity of 1 kg. Try this question first, then we'll talk about this in a greater sense. Okay. You can consider anything as a reference point. Just remember this word. For each mass, I can have a different ways of reference point, and for each mass, I can have a different calculations. Okay. Just remember this in mind, and then you try to do it. No. What? No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That there is no segregation in this time actually. The question is itself saying that whichever part you are going to consider, I'm going to be the same. The question itself, okay. So the reference point will never ever bother you because these questions are asked on the basis of reference point. I have already told you that whenever you consider the concept of reference point, all those things are omitted which you are thinking of disturbing things. Okay. Like अगर मान लो जैसे हम पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस के बारे में बात करें तो पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस ही हमारे हमारे लिए कुछ मैटर नहीं करता है क्योंकि दोनों के लिए रेफरेंस पॉइंट अलग अलग है और दोनों के लिए difference in the potential energy due to the reference point is always constant. एक बात बताओ अभी कुछ देर पहले ही तो अपन ने डिस्कस किया था ना रिलेटिव पोटेंशियल एनर्जी हमें कुछ means if I just consider relative potential energy is always independent of frame of reference or not. Yeah, so apply that concept. The point is relative potential energy is always independent of frame of reference. So use that concept and this question can be solved easily. Remember always, relative potential energy is independent of frame of reference. Is that clear now? Hmm. सोचो 2 मिनट का काम है, अच्छे से सोच लोगे बन जाएगा। बताऊं मैं? Okay. So look over here. How to consider this will tell you. Okay, how first identify how many blocks are there. How many blocks are there? How many blocks? Two. ठीक है. So there is no such reference point in this kind of thread and place system. Why? Because we know that the length of the thread is never ever going to change. Is it going to change? So whatever you are going to consider, whatever you are going to take, whatever you are going to consider the reference point for 2 kg, it is same for our 1 kg. Are you able to get me or not? Because and even it can be treated for 1 kg as same because the particular 1 kg or the particular 2 kg will have always a constant length in between. Is that clear or not? So let's suppose because I'll tell you there is no such reference point because for 2 kg I am considering this ground as my reference point. किसको मान रहा हूँ? ग्राउंड को। लेकिन 1 kg को इसका इसी के ऊपर पॉइंट मान लेगा। आर एबल टू गेट मी और नॉट? अब ये मत पूछना कि क्यों ऐसा होता है। इसके पीछे रीजन ये है कि अगर सर हम ध्यान से देखें तो जितना नीचे 2 kg चल के आएगा उतना ही तो लेंथ 1 kg भी इधर चल के आएगा। लेकिन क्या पोटेंशियल एनर्जी 1 kg की चेंज हुई? नहीं। आर एबल टू गेट मी और नॉट? Yeah, then that's why the reference point has no effect of one on 1 kg. Okay. So if I see the equations, if I look for the equations, there are only how many forces? Two kinds of forces, tension and mg. There is no friction. So once again, tension and mg are which kind of forces? Conservative forces, isn't it? तो अगर ये कंजर्वेटिव फोर्स है तो वंस अगेन क्या आएगा इक्वेशन? काइनेटिक एनर्जी इनिशियल प्लस potential energy initial is equal to kinetic energy final plus potential energy final. बोल तो यार है ना? Is this clear? Now अब ध्यान से देखो तो अगर if this point if this 2 kg has velocity v over here, if this 2 kg has how much velocity? So 1 kg will travel also for only 1 meter. कितना मीटर चलेगा? सॉरी थ्रेड अगर ध्यान से देखा जाए तो अगर 2 kg 2 मीटर्स डाउन आया तो 1 kg इसके ऊपर 1 मीटर आगे चलेगा या 2 मीटर आगे चलेगा या नहीं चलेगा? हाँ। तो अगर इसकी वेलोसिटी v हुई तो कंस्टेंट रिलेशन क्या बोलता है कि इधर सिंस देयर आर ओनली वन पुली इधर भी वेलोसिटी v होनी चाहिए क्योंकि हर पॉइंट वेलोसिटी v से एक्सेलरेट होगा है कि नहीं? Is that clear? तो ध्यान से देखा जाए तो when the 2 kg at this position had some velocity v, the mass 1 kg over this position has also how much velocity v. Are you able to get me or not? So finally, the initial, let's suppose if I talk about initial kinetic energy, that's how much? Zero. Yes, but this 2 kg has been raised up by from the ground at a distance of 2 meters or not? हैं? mgh बेटा। हाँ 2gh mass into gravity into height which is 2 meters. Are you able to get me or not? This is for 2 kg only. For 2 kg it will be how much? 2. Is that clear? Yeah, kinetic, both of the bodies are at rest, so initial kinetic energy is how much? Zero. Is that clear? Fine. Initial potential energy is only for 2 kg now. Why? Because for 1 kg, its reference point is lying over here on the body itself. Are you able to get me? ओके, सी यू माइट थिंक, अरे सर ये क्या कर रहे हो यार ऐसे, मतलब यहाँ पे 2 kg है, ये 1 मीटर पे लोकेटेड है, तो इसका बना दिया ये रेफरेंस पॉइंट, तो सर इसके बारे में क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे हो, कुछ तो बताओ। भैया सिंपल सी बात है, क्योंकि जब ये 1 kg यहाँ पर आएगा तो देर इज नो चेंज इन पोटेंशियल एनर्जी, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम नॉट इंक्लूडिंग दिस रेफरेंस पॉइंट फॉर द 1 kg, इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट? We are defining for every block its own reference point, is that clear? Such that we can talk about them in independent way by a combined equation of only one equation, that is kinetic energy initial plus potential energy initial is equal to kinetic energy final plus potential energy final, because all of them are following constant relation। ठीक है, तो क्या करूं, तरीका क्या है, दोनों बॉडीज के ऊपर अगर 2 ब्लॉक है तो कितने रेफरेंस पॉइंट है, 2 रेफरेंस पॉइंट, अगर 3 ब्लॉक है तो कितने रेफरेंस पॉइंट है, 3, अगर 4 ब्लॉक तो कितने रेफरेंस पॉइंट, 4। तो इनिशियल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी सिर्फ 2 kg का आएगा, क्योंकि इसके ऊपर तो हम रेफरेंस पॉइंट ड्रॉ किए, तो इसकी पोटेंशियल एनर्जी क्या हो गई, 0, कितनी हो गई। फाइनल काइनेटिक एनर्जी जो होगा वो हाफ एमपीएस पर, ध्यान से देखो, तो 2 kg प्लस, दोनों के पास वेलोसिटी v है ना फाइनली, तो 2 + 1 इंटू वी स्क्वायर, आर एबल टू गेट मी? एंड फाइनली देखो तो आसान है या नहीं है, फाइनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी बिकम्स हाउ मच, 0। सो टू पॉजिटिव प्रॉब्लम्स यू आर गोइंग टू डू लाइक दिस वे फॉर इवन नीट आल्सो, इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट? मजा आया, फील आया? इक्वेशन क्या आया, ये आएगा 2 × 2 = 440 इंटू 280 डिवाइड बाई 3 इज इक्वल टू वी स्क्वायर, दैट्स माई वेलोसिटी। ठीक है, चलो, हाँ जो भी है जो भी है, इसकी बाकी साकी ना था। एक और अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछे, ठीक, तो इसके ऊपर थोड़ा मास्टरी करते हैं, सिंस नया कॉन्सेप्ट है शिफ्टिंग ऑफ। तुमने सोचा होगा अरे सर क्या कर रहे हो, पूरी वर्क एनर्जी की तो आपने बैंड बजा बजा दी, इससे ज्यादा, इससे आसान तो हमें स्कूल में पढ़ाया गया था, है ना? बट जो तुमने सीखा वो तुम्हें ना तो कोई किताब सिखा सकता, ना ही कोई टीचर, इज दैट क्लियर और नॉट? बिकॉज एवरीवन इज अ टीचर, for teacher, it takes guts to solve all these kind of problems, because even I can get confused, I know that। ठीक है, चल, अब मान ले एक पुली है, एक और पुली लगा दिया इसके ऊपर, ठीक है, अरे तू रोने लगी भाई। अरे तुम्हें फिजिक्स पढ़ना है बेटा। अच्छा, योर डैड इज आल्सो आईआईटीएन ना? हाँ, so if I will tell him next time, sir, see that she's not studying, and if I'm giving her a question, she's not even solving it, then he will be like, oh beta ji इधर आना, ठीक है ना? So let us consider this is a block of mass 5 kg. You just show him these kind of questions, he will be so proud. Oh wow, what a nice teacher! I used to solve this, because an IITian can only understand IITian word or not. And this is a 2 kg block. So one is 5 kg, another one is 2 kg. Okay. अब ध्यान से देखो, the question is, when this 5 kg block falls by a distance of 2 meters, जब ये 5 kg ब्लॉक कितने डिस्टेंस फॉल करेगा, then find the velocity of both blocks. Consider v of one of 2 kg is equal to what after falling, and velocity 2 which is of 5 kg is how much? Both the velocities after, if the 5 kg block falls by 2 meters। ये अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, इतना मुझे पता है। इजी पीजी। या ये क्वेश्चन सब आसान है, देख लो। क्योंकि कितने ब्लॉक्स है तो कितने रेफरेंस पॉइंट हो गए? हाँ हाँ। अच्छा हाँ, दो रेफरेंस पॉइंट। हेलो, यस यस। आई वाज जस्ट यूजिंग माय फोन, दैट्स ऑल। Got it? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. ठीक है। हमें टेंशन के बारे में क्यों सोचना? तुम बताओ। हाँ, तुम टेंशन सोचोगे तो फिर क्या होगा? माइंड में ही टेंशन लगेगा, है ना? करेक्ट डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ टेंशन राइट नाउ। ध्यान से सोच। जब ये 5 kg है, अब 5 kg अगर यहाँ पे आएगा, and this 5 kg will come over here, it will have some velocity v, isn't it? तो ध्यान से देखो जरा। तो ये जो पॉइंट है इसके पास भी वेलोसिटी v रहेगी, है ना? जो सिंगल थ्रेड है वो यहां से लेके, ध्यान से देखना, सिंगल थ्रेड जो है वो यहां से लेके ऐसे जाके ऐसे हो रहा है ना, ये कटा हुआ थ्रेड हो जा रहा है ना, मींस दिस इज अनदर थ्रेड ओवर देयर और नॉट? So this velocity, if this goes down with this velocity, this will go up with some velocity. And if this goes up with some velocity, ध्यान से सोचो जरा, तो इस पॉइंट के ऊपर ये पॉइंट जो है, इस पॉइंट की तो वेलोसिटी जीरो है ना, इस पॉइंट की वेलोसिटी कैसी होगी? जीरो। आर एबल टू गेट मी और नॉट? तो ध्यान से देखो, जो पुल्ली की जो ये वेलोसिटी होगी, जिस मास से 2 kg को ऊपर जाना चाहिए, जिस वेलोसिटी के साथ, मान लो वो है v1, कितना है v1, v2 तो फाइनली हमारा v है ना? Is that clear? So how to find V1? You know that relation, pulley relation, that V1 is equal to this V plus 0 divided by how much? 2। तो कितना आया बेटा? V by 2। तो अगर मान लो 5 kg 2 मीटर चला नीचे, कितना मीटर चला? और ध्यान से देखो, तो अगर वेलोसिटी हाफ हो गई तो इसका मतलब जो 2 kg है वो सिर्फ 1 मीटर राइज अप करेगा ना, और वहां पे उसकी जो वेलोसिटी बनेगी वो एक्चुअली में v नहीं रहेगी, वो क्या रहेगी बेटा? v बाई टू। इज दैट क्लियर होगा? तो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी इनकी जीरो, 0 मीटर पर सेकेंड है दोनों की। एक चल रहा है 2 मीटर, दूसरा चल रहा है 1 मीटर। एक की वेलोसिटी हो जा रही है v, दूसरे की हो जा रही है कितनी बेटा? v बाई टू। ध्यान से देखो, तो सारे फोर्सेस बस टेंशन और mg ही है, और ये सारे फोर्सेस कैसे फोर्सेस हैं? कंजर्वेटिव। तो इक्वेशन क्या लगा दूंगा? काइनेटिक एनर्जी इनिशियल प्लस पोटेंशियल एनर्जी इनिशियल इज इक्वल टू काइनेटिक एनर्जी फाइनल प्लस पोटेंशियल एनर्जी फाइनल। आर यू एबल टू गेट मी? अच्छा, ध्यान से देखा जाए तो दोनों के लिए अपना खुद का एक रेफरेंस पॉइंट है। इसका रेफरेंस पॉइंट मान लो ये वाली पॉइंट है, ठीक, और इसका रेफरेंस पॉइंट ये वाली पॉइंट है कि नहीं? खुद के ऊपर होगा। आर यू एबल टू गेट मी? पिछले वाले को ग्राउंड इसलिए माना था ताकि क्वेश्चन इजी हो जाए, इज दैट? इसके ऊपर भी कंसीडर कर सकते हो। आर यू एबल टू गेट मी और नॉट? आंसर विल कम सेम, ओके? So initial kinetic energy for both of the blocks is how much? Zero. Initially, both of them are lying at their own reference point A. So initial potential energy is also how much? Zero. Final kinetic energy is 5 kg की अलग है, हाँ, 5 kg into v स्क्वायर, यही होगा ना? और 2 kg की अलग है, so हाफ into 2 into v by 2, yes, प्लस पोटेंशियल एनर्जी फाइनल। अब देखो, तो 5 kg ब्लॉक अपने रेफरेंस पॉइंट से नीचे 2 मीटर चल रहा है ना, तो 5 into g which is 10 into height which is -2, because -2 meter, yes, because it is going down. Are you able to get me? Plus 2 kg. 2 kg अपने पॉइंट से ऊपर जा रहा है 1 मीटर, so 2 into 10 into 1. So this is how much? 5 2s are 10, 100 minus 20. This is how much? 80. So this equation becomes minus 80. So that is 80 is equal to कितना आएगा ये बेटा? 5 by 2 b square plus कितना होगा ये? Half v square by 2. Are you able to get me or not? v s ये 2 और 2 कैंसिल होगा ना एक. हाँ ठीक है, तो क्या आएगा रिलेशन? 80 बराबर, directly we can write, yes. 2 4s are 4, 10 b square plus 4 1 1 b square. So this becomes how much? 80 into 4, 11 b square by how much? 4. Are you able to get me or not? Hmm. 320 by 11 meter per second. Are you able to get me? Hmm. तो दोनों मासेस की वेलोसिटी मिली या नहीं मिली? तो आसान तरीका है, हर तरीका आसान है ना. So basically you can do like this way, okay. So these were some of the best things which we... Yes, 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 because all are following constraint relation. Constraint is applying that fact that change in the potential. If I consider this as also reference point, and since we know that the potential energy is always not potential energy, what is our word? That change in potential energy is independent of reference point. ये बताया था ना, और रेफरेंस फ्रेम बोला था, सॉरी. रेफरेंस फ्रेम या पॉइंट जो बोलो, ठीक. तो बेसिकली व्हेन वी आर राइटिंग द इक्वेशन काइनेटिक एनर्जी इनिशियल प्लस पोटेंशियल एनर्जी इनिशियल इज इक्वल टू काइनेटिक एनर्जी फाइनल प्लस पोटेंशियल एनर्जी फाइनल, so we are considering this change in potential energy to be independent. Are you able to get me or not? Which makes us to consider, yeah, which makes us, I can write it as what? Kinetic energy initial is equal to potential energy initial minus potential energy final or not. So this term is independent of what? Reference point. And that's what we are making it. That's what we, yeah. So this is our thing. This is what we are misutilizing. We can construct any reference point anywhere, any number of also. But the ideal case is consider the reference point, two reference point or three reference point on each of the block systems. Are you able to get me or not? मेरी बात समझ में आई? ठीक है. तो this was all about your work energy theorem and work power, all these questions. Two things are left: energy equilibrium, like consider of stable, unstable, and all. And then one thing is all left, that is power. Yeah. So we'll finish that fast and then we'll move to the next chapter, which is oscillations. Are you able to get me or not? Maximum two, maximum two. Max two or one class only. Just one class. Tomorrow I'll finish it. Okay. Hmm. Tomorrow, yeah.